Today, our new guest, psychologist, Miss Sharon Draper. She's had 17 years of experience in psychology, and then 15 of those were seeing workers' comp and CDB patients. What is your opinion on psych claims and workers' comp?
What I see with workers' comp, a lot of people struggle to be assertive. They're people pleasers. The longer you're away from work, the harder it is to get back.
Like, I want to pick your brain into what is the real answers.
We need structure, we need routine, we need purpose, we need meaning, we need movement, we need social connections.
I don't think there's one right answer for everything.
It's psychology. It's not a physical injury. Workers' comp is built on physical injuries, not psychology.
How can we change that then? How can we improve on that?
I think a lot of case managers would benefit from training to understand humans.
That sounds like a centerpiece of this podcast.
It's not just the injury, it's what happens after that actually perpetuates the claim. That's definite.
She's here to talk about psychology.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's my passion.
Now, I guess, let's spend the next few minutes talking about your history. Like, let the audience understand who you are.
Okay. From South Africa.
Uh-huh.
I moved over here as an adult. So I was 29 when I actually moved to Australia, and I got sponsored through work, which I was very grateful for. When I moved here, it was the first time I could actually walk outside without feeling afraid. You don't really realize the situations in South Africa. I would just drive everywhere, really. You wouldn't walk to a park.
I actually have a very close, I wouldn't say close friend, but a friend that's South African. He's one of our brokers, financial brokers.
Yep.
And he tells me that every single year he goes back to South Africa, the fences go higher and higher.
Yes.
So when he was a kid, he's old, okay? It was maybe 2 meters tall or a meter tall or something.
Yeah.
Now when it goes back, I think last time I spoke to him was a year ago. It was 9 meters tall fences.
Yeah, and then electric fence on top of the fence.
Oh, so now they're out of electrics.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had that growing up.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
even growing up.
Yeah, no. When I heard, I was like, that is insane.
You don't really realize until you come to a country like this where you don't really have that. And I felt quite unsafe for a very long time. The fact that people can walk up to your front door. I'm like, what? No. It's quite terrifying. But anyway, I adapted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So came in when you were an adult, and then what happened? What else?
I worked at a clinic, which was a bulk billing clinic in Redfern. So that was a great experience. Really, very stressful, but it was really good experience. And then I decided, I always knew I wanted to work for myself. So I then started slowly kind of moving out of that and building up my private practice. And now I work, for myself.
Do you have any other staff working for you, or is it just?
I did briefly, but no, it's mainly just I'm a one-person show. I've got a million caps, which, working for yourself, you kind of have to be everything.
It's hard.
It is hard.
One person, it's very
It is
hard.
quite lonely. Yeah, I have supervision and I have colleagues that I chat to, but yeah.
Oh, okay. And all right. So for the past, how many years have you been working for yourself?
Probably 8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And during this time, you've been seeing private patients and workers' comp.
Private and workers' comp, yeah. So I feel even though the workers' comp system is really difficult, and I've always threatened to not see anyone on workers' comp ever again, kind of thing. I think I do that every year. I can't deal with this. I'm still here.
Okay, that's a good leeway to the first questions. What is your opinion on psych claims and workers' comp?
They're interesting. They're very different to physical claims, I find. I feel there's a lot of, as you know, there are a lot more psychological claims.
Now than before,
yes, absolutely.
I think everyone knows that.
Hence why there's this need for change.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of theories around why that is. There's a lot of, it's interesting to look at the system, the workplace, and the person. I feel like it's all three parts that influence this. A lot of the time and just jump in if you have any questions, because I can just start rambling about this.
No. Actually, one question I do have before we move on. How many patients do you see now, roughly?
Of my whole practice?
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because I've got private clients who dip in and out, so they're kind of active, but they're not every week.
Let's just go workers' comp.
Yeah. Majority is workers' comp, actually, unfortunately, in that sense, because it's, like I said, it's a tricky, I feel like I'm knocking my head against a brick wall a lot of the time. there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and everyone has a different goal and different opinion, and that just confuses the client.
Okay.
And the system's vague, and then you have case managers who kind of blame people other than the client. Like the rehab providers and the psychs are the ones that get blamed for the client not moving.
Well, let's go into the saucy stuff later.
Oh, it's so full on.
But so how many patients, like, on average, every single week or every day? How many do you see?
So I see about probably like 20 or
20
so.
a day?
Yeah.
20
No, a week.
A week?
Yeah.
20 a day?
No, hourly sessions.
Okay.
There's no way I could do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
20 a week.
Yeah, 20 to 25, I'd probably say. Yeah.
That's not a small number. Because I've seen, psychologists work, and then it's draining work.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of paperwork more than private clients. And private clients have agency in that they've chosen to come here. While a lot of workers' comp clients, they feel like they can't, some feel they have to see a psychologist. So then for them, a lot of it, it's a tick a box system, which is not treatment at all. And then others are they're just desperate for some sort of support that they don't feel they're getting from anyone, that they then cling to the psychologist and are dependent on them. So that's a lot to carry as well. So there's a lot of problems that become barriers to the client who's, trying to get back on track with their life. Many, and I can talk about all of those.
Like, what are barriers usually do you see?
So I think, like I said, with work, when something's happened at work from a psychological perspective, usually it'll be something like bullying, some sort of form of rejection in some way from the community. And if you think about humans, we're social beings. We need to be part of community. I'm an introvert, so I kind of like my own space, but I still have community. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's good to have that balance. You need it. We need it for survival, if you think of the human being. And a lot of us, our work is our community, and our work is our identity. And when we feel rejected by that community, it's like a survival threat. Honestly, people react as if it is. From a biological perspective, if you think of, like, if I can use the examples of like caveman days, if you're rejected, you're on your own, dude, and you're like not going to survive.
Are you saying like the possibility of survival is a lot less if you're by yourself?
Absolutely,
is that the
100%.
fear aspect of the brain?
100%. Yeah. Can you imagine, being exposed to the elements by yourself? You can't. It's a much lower rate of survival if you're by yourself, and even though, we have Uber Eats now, like, you don't need people, like a community, to help you fend for yourself, like with getting food or shelter, but we still crave connection. We learn through others. We cannot be alone. And it's sad because I've got a lot of clients, especially on workers' comp, who feel the only way they can survive is by being alone and away from everyone and living in like a cave or like off-grid. The problem is you're just going to get lonelier and lonelier. We really need people. But so just coming back to that idea of them feeling rejected. So what happens with workplace injury? Somebody gets bullied, for example, and they can't go back. What tends to happen, I see, is that then the work shuts everyone down. They say to all the colleagues, don't contact this person. They try and contain it a lot of the time. The person who bullies doesn't contact, the managers don't contact, whoever it is, but even colleagues. And I find a lot of my clients will say, I thought I had friends, and they haven't reached out to me once. But a lot of the time they get told to just not make contact with them. So essentially this person, the injured worker, is getting ostracized from the group, and they're left by themselves. And all they're left with really is their thoughts about what's happened, and they ruminate and ruminate and ruminate over, and that's just re-traumatizing themselves over and over and over. They don't have any trust anymore. They don't feel like they belong anymore. And then they start developing shame as well. And it's interesting because I find people, all humans, we all have something. Hey, we all have baggage. We all do.
Yes.
Like, if anyone says they don't, I think they're just in
Full of
denial.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have something, and we all have developed some sort of limiting belief about ourselves, whether we're not good enough or not worthy enough, not lovable, whatever it is. So if you think about a person who's in this job and they're doing everything, and they may be working really hard even if they're not working that hard, but they're working, and it's their identity, and then suddenly they've been sort of ostracized from the group and they're just left with themselves, basically that like belief about themselves will come up, like, oh, it's true, I am unlovable, or I am, not worthy. All that stuff comes up from an emotional perspective, and that's really what gets people stuck. And then they feel shame, and shame makes us hide away more, so we avoid pain, we avoid anything that is threatening, And the more we avoid and isolate, the bigger the fear. There's no opportunity to have new experiences with others. No, you don't feel like anyone gets you. You feel like you're the only one going through this. It's tough. It's really tough. But I think the problem is a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand the human that we're dealing with. From a biological nervous system perspective, we're just looking at what's happening. Just go back to work, or you need to now go back. Or people, and I think it's so interesting, people go, okay, help treat them and then let them get back. And you're like, I can't help you build confidence by yourself, you and me only, and then you're going back into that psychologically unsafe environment. We have to work together. We have to try and make that environment safe again for the person. And if you can nip it in the bud, the best way is by engaging early on. Like as soon as somebody, as we know, hey, the stats are evident. It says the longer you're away from work, the harder it is to get back. And the other thing that I've really learned from this experience is that it's not actually just the injury or what's happened, and it's never one incident when it's a psychological claim. It's never one. It's a cumulative stress. Never one. No, never. Not normally. Okay, I won't say never.
Okay.
Usually it's you tolerate somebody's little bit of a dig at you or poor performance managing, whatever it is. Like it usually is a build up, until the person just can't take it anymore, and then it looks like a one incident, and there's always a date of injury. It's happened before, man. Like all this was a build up for sure. So yeah, don't know where I was going with that.
But that's fine. I've got a question here.
Yeah.
In terms of the patients that you see, the patient load you see, how often does this happen? As in, like, how often do you see where people are getting ostracized, and then that causes, issues with the claim? Yeah,
that's where I was going with it. It's not just the injury; it's what happens after that really perpetuates it. I see that mainly. Majority of my psych claims that's happened.
What's the ratio? Like 80%, 90%?
I'd say 90%.
90%.
I'd say, or in my
cohort. Is it like more common in office settings, or is it like factories, men, women? Like, is there anything that stands out in particular?
No, no, not really. I mean, I do see smaller businesses that don't really have like an HR system or certain structures in place that can be a little bit tricky because like your boss is your manager, is your HR, that's like quite difficult. And then if the person goes on workers' comp, they get offended as well because it's their business, it's their family or their name, everything. Bigger companies, but I don't see any real difference. The main thing is this perception of being ostracized. That's really perpetuates it. And then sometimes it's also the person as well, how they are, what traits they have. So again, not blame. There's no blame. Humans love pointing fingers and blaming, and this is the reason. It's always grey. There are always many reasons.
There's like many reasons.
Many reasons. Yeah. But so that situation is a big factor or influencer. With regards to the person, often I see people who, and I've seen this as an example of difference between private and workers' comp clients.
That was like my next question.
Yeah.
Like, is there a difference between actual, workers' comp patients and private patients? Because I do think, unfortunately, if we bring the two groups together, one is paid by the insurer, one is paying out of pocket.
Yeah.
The out of pocket one, I think, might have a little bit more accountability, and I guess, what do you call it?
Agency
to get better. Like, is it?
And they're more active.
Yeah. Is there a difference between these two groups of people?
Definitely. I've got lots of examples of that. But it's quite complex. Like there's never, like this trait is what they've got and that's why. It's not that. And again, it's not blaming. It's just a lot of us, depends on our experience growing up as well, will influence the way we view the world. But
what examples? Give me some examples.
Of
differences between.
I've got people in my head right now. Like so, I've had clients who, and we're just sticking with psychological claims mainly because those are the most complex ones.
Yes.
Because they're vague and you can't see progress and it's all subjective. Anyway, so I'd say, you nailed it. It's the agency, having agency and being passive or active. So what I've seen is people who are, say, a private client who's been bullied at work. I can see that happening. They come to me and we're working through that. But they go, I've tried and I've spoken to this person and it didn't change anything. I've spoken to HR, it didn't change anything. And then they go, well, there's nothing more I can do to try and change the system, what is left? I have to do something for myself. And what they do, then they go, this place of work, my values and the work's values are no longer aligned. I need to find something else. So while they're at work, they start looking for something else that's more aligned with their values. Those people flourish, 100% flourish, even though they've been bullied.
Wow.
Because they have agency in their recovery. They've made a choice. They chose to go. What I see with workers' comp, a lot of people struggle to be assertive. They're people pleasers. They maybe overwork as well or underwork as well and can get performance managed. That's a whole other story. But mainly let's talk about the non-assertive people pleasers who tolerate, work hard, aren't managing their life that well maybe, or aren't able to assert themselves. So they just keep getting more and more work and just keep working until they have to collapse.
Are you saying that introverted people are more susceptible to psych claims?
I wouldn't say introverted. I'd say internal and external locus of control, which is a bit different.
Okay.
Similar. No. I'll explain it.
What is it?
So,
what's that? I've never heard of that term before.
So introversion, I'll say that first, and then so introversion is where you get more energy from like being by yourself kind of thing. You know, like you need like a reprieve from groups so that you can build energy, and then you can go out and socialize, but then you kind of come back to your little safe spot. An extroversion is a little bit like where you get a lot of energy from being outside, you know, with people.
Correct.
And you prefer that kind of thing to get energy.
I see it as different, like somewhat similar, but I see it as, I picture it as, you know, a battery.
Yeah.
Like introverted people,
totally.
They charge their battery whilst they're outside.
Totally.
And conversing with people and talking with people.
That's exactly
and
it.
Then introverted people, like myself, once I get home and then I can be myself, I can be in my head. You know, I don't meditate, but, you know, something like that. And it charges my battery back up. And then I can go and start talking to people.
Totally. Again. No, that's exactly it. That's a great analogy, definitely. But now internal and external locus of control is just slightly different. So somebody who has an internal, well, let's start with external. Somebody with an external locus of control thinks fate happens, thinks luck happens, life happens to me. It's out of my hands. This year has been terrible. I hope next year is better. Like that you give all your power to something external. Okay, so that's the external locus of control. People with an internal locus of control recognize they can't change their whole, like they can't change everything in the environment, and bad things can happen to good people, like we know that. But we always look at what can I do about it. So I'm not happy where I am. What can I do about it?
It sounds a lot like accountability.
Yeah. It is more accountable for their responsibility. While a lot of people who get stuck on workers' comp maybe have experienced some trauma growing up as well that could come into it, you know, where they believe that this person needs to change or they did this to me, which again, maybe they did. Maybe they were really badly bullied. That's not their fault.
Yep.
But it's not black or white. It's not all or nothing. It's that person could have done something to you and bullied you, and you did nothing wrong there. But what was your part in it? You maybe put up with it, or maybe you weren't able to assert yourself,
it to happen.
or you kind of stayed, or you kind of kept working harder, like that. And not a blame. I think again, it's like people like to blame others because they think the opposite of that is that then I'm to blame. So I'm not to blame, or I can't be blamed because that then brings up shame. So I have to blame someone else. You did all this stuff. That's not true. That's not life. Life is great.
No, I actually think it's more than that. It's an easy way out. Like if you blame someone else, you have no control of it.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't need to make any actions to fix it.
Yeah, it is. But I like to have compassion for a lot of people who do that still as well. And I get what you're saying. Yeah. No.
I don't.
That's why well, I have to.
But that's your job.
Yeah. It is my job. Like I don't feel like people are like, I'm not going to take accountability, and they're going to do it. It's a reaction. It's a reaction to protect themselves. A lot of people's behavior is a reaction. It's not like a conscious thing. People are not lazy. People are not lazy on work. People are not just not feeling like going back to work. They're terrified. They are feel threatened. They are in a survival state. So, but nobody sees that. People look at them and go, "Why don't you just go back?" And like, I don't know. And they don't know either. They don't understand. So I teach people about nervous system regulation first, so that they can have some compassion and have context as to why am I feeling this way. Because something else, a lot of people I see, I can talk about this forever. A lot of people have adversity in the past that in their mind it's worse than what they've gone through. and they're like, why has this affected me so much? I've gone through divorce, I've gone through death. And they struggle to understand why.
Can we just go back
Sure.
one step? You're teaching your patient's nervous system, how it works. What does that look like? Because I've never actually been to a psychologist before. I've never been treated.
You should. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I feel too vulnerable when you're sitting there, in those like lounge chairs. I actually don't. In my head, right? I still have the Hollywood painted version of what psychology treatment looks like. Lounge chair, sitting there, and then you're like, closing your eyes, go, hey, talk about your I don't know, your upbringing.
It's always the childhood, yeah.
But this is different. This is sounds like this is like real treatment. Like how do you I'm sorry. But how do you actually treat them with teaching them on nervous system?
Because I do a lot of psychoeducation, definitely. And the research with trauma has changed quite a bit. Like I didn't learn this when I was getting trained.
Okay.
It was a while ago. But it's called polyvagal theory. You're trying to learn about the different survival states. I'd love to, I've got like a whole workshop. I could do this for you.
Plug it later.
Sorry.
That's fine. Plug it later, yeah.
I'm all about, I love educating and a lot of people come back to me and they go, oh my God, that makes so much sense now. Okay. And like I said, it's less shaming. It's more, okay, so that makes sense why I reacted like that. But then it's not enough. Insight isn't enough. We then need to try and work and, okay, how do I change that? How do I get out of that survival state?
Also, you're teaching them human psychology and natural responses. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Like what happens to us, our body. All of us have a nervous system.
As in like the amygdala and the fight-flight system.
Definitely,
and all that stuff?
definitely.
Okay.
Well, and you've heard of a lot of it. So I'll give you a quick brief thing if you want. So there are three main states.
Yep.
The first one, I won't talk about, it's called a ventral vagal, but I call it connection. It's where you feel grounded and present and alert and you can be creative, you can learn, you can acknowledge awe experiences, that kind of space where you're very present.
Yep.
Then there are the survival states. And the first one is more sympathetic, flight. You know that one. Like that energy, anxious, anger, any kind of thing that kind of builds energy. That's that state. Now we need that. Survival states are imperative for survival.
Correct.
But then there's another state after that one that goes, we shut down, we numb, we get really disconnected, we feel depressed, depleted.
Is that where majority of these workers' comp claims patients end up being?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Not one in particular. It's either the I call it the red zone, which is the anger, anxious, or the blue zone, which is the depleted, depressed, or freeze. When we freeze, which is a mix between those two. So I just teach people and try and help them to understand where am I on the ladder of our nervous system, and then what can I do to try to regulate myself to be able to move again, move up the ladder.
Between the states.
Yeah, the goal is not to be in that top sort of calm place all the time because that's impossible. It's like somebody saying, I just want to be happy forever. And it's impossible.
Cool,
yeah.
I think that's actually, where the idea of work-life balance comes from.
Yeah.
I always go into it, but it's a very shit place to be because you're so content. It means you got no drive, you got no ambitions, you got no aspiration to learn and be better versions of yourself.
Yeah.
But having that anger and emotion attached to it, then you're like, oh my God, I might be missing something. Oh my God, I'm losing. Oh my God, it brings out the competitiveness out of people.
Yeah,
and I think it's
motivation. Totally. Yeah. It's normal. All these things are normal. A lot of people are like, why am I like this? Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. It's like, no, it's a normal response given what you've gone through. So we need to understand that first. That's what I mainly do is educate first and then build rapport, of course, and then look at, okay, well, what do we need to do? I try to help my clients who do have a bit more of an external locus of control to build more of an internal one. Empower themselves. What can I do? How can you be active in your recovery rather than passive? Because as soon as they're passive and they let all the cooks in the kitchen talk for them, you're going to be on the claim for like 3 years, for sure.
Wow.
I've seen it.
Wow.
I usually come in later. I've had clients, a lot of my clients, they've been with other people for a long time, but there's no movement, and then they somehow find me. And then so they've really been on the claim for like a year. So it's tough.
Wow.
It's hard to try to get them back.
You start with, painting a picture of what it looks like so that they actually understand themselves. What comes next?
Well, then, so some of it is difficult because some stuff might be from the past as well. So, it's workers' comp. I have to try and keep it workers' comp as well. We can't necessarily delve into everything. But the main thing is empowerment and having a plan. When we are uncertain about our future, we feel psychologically unsafe. If you think that, we need structure, we need routine, we need purpose, we need meaning, we need movement, we need social connections. What happens, what I see always, this is always biggest pain point is what happens, or the biggest theme, is that people go on workers' comp and they start avoiding everything and they stop living. They actually stop living because they feel nobody gets them. So even their close family, friends who are supportive, they don't feel supported by them or don't feel like they can fully understand. So people stop. They also don't want to be asked, somebody says, how's work going? They don't want to have to answer that because they're not assertive and they don't want to divulge. And that's fine too. But then what they tend to do is avoid. So if you avoid life, that's not living. It's really not living. And the more you avoid, and the more you lose confidence and social skills, motivation, all those things.
Look, one thought actually came into my head while you were talking, and then I'm thinking, is that actually workers' comp though? When someone becomes, what's that word? Closing in on themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not willing to, engage. Is that supposed to be on workers' comp though? Or is it just a normal should that be on the private system more than the workers' comp system?
No, I would say, because the thing is there's something that triggered this reaction, and that was at work. That work thing caused the thing. But what I'm saying is this stuff perpetuates it. It continues. It makes it continue. But again, there are three parts to this, though, remember, as well. It's not just the clients. It's not just up to the client to change. Their work needs to somehow change as well, or engage with the worker, because that will help them feel connected and be able to get back to work. The more the communication and connection is there, the person will feel valued so that they can go back to work. So work has to change because work has caused this. Okay. Then there's the person. Some people get more stuck on it than others, but that's one part of it as well. The person, whether they feel ostracized and then all their fears come up to the present and then their behavior perpetuates it. But again, they're not like, I don't feel like I just want to avoid. They're not choosing avoidance. They're avoiding as a reaction because of this trauma they've experienced at work. And then there's the system. And the system, unfortunately, inadvertently, unintentionally perpetuates it as well, because all they're doing is pathologizing the person. It's an injured worker. They're constantly getting assessed at how bad are you? Assess yourself with those self-assessment questionnaires. It's just all the person is focusing on, because of everything, is how disordered they are. They're not focusing on anything else.
The funny thing is, I actually know exactly which questionnaire you're talking about, right? Every single time I read it, I'm like, does it actually work? Because they're like, on a scale of 1 to 5 or something like that, right? How disabled do you feel? Or, how what was the other questions? Like, how independent are you with, your...
It's any self-assessment questionnaires are they're not objective. They to be honest, I don't value them at all.
Oh, wow.
No. Oh, this could be a problem. No.
Okay.
I don't, because they're self-assessment. Like, I have to do them. I have to do them because workers' comp want some sort of figure, like a number. Put a number to this person's pain. Severe, or 20 out of whatever it is. But you can, it's subjective. Right, today I am feeling so bad. So you do the assessment. It's going to be severe, extremely severe, depressed, anxious, stressed. You have another day where you're feeling a bit better and you do it honestly. It's going to be a completely different score. 2 different days.
So what do you do? Like, if you don't...
I don't really use them.
You don't use them, just throw it away.
No, I have to...
Paperwork. No.
That's part of the paperwork I hate.
Yeah, exactly. No, we do it legitimately, honestly.
No, I do it. I give it to them, obviously. I have to. But I've been pulled up by some case managers. Like, you haven't provided the scores. Like, okay, yeah, the scores.
Okay.
No, I do it with them. I comply.
Yeah, compliance.
I do comply.
But it's almost meaningless. Yeah, that's what you're
I
saying.
don't think it's
It's not completely meaningless.
yes.
But,
No, but that's it. I don't think it's look. You can't just use that, but that's the ethics with psychometrics. You can't just use one assessment anyway. I would
that's
love, but I do have a psychometrics background. I didn't tell you that before I became a psychologist. I mainly did psychometrics. I love that. That's so accurate and clear. Not vague like people, But you need a battery of assessments if you're really going to assess someone. And that's why I hate these IMEs or whole person impairments. You get a psychiatrist who sees the person for, maximum an hour.
No, it depends on who
Depends,
did
it could be 10 minutes.
I mean, if the insurance did it, it was probably like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've heard 15 minutes for some.
Yeah.
And that determines how impaired. I'm sorry, that is so unethical. It's a very unethical space.
I know. Look, it sounds like I'm crapping on these people, but it's not. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I've seen them, literally do an assessment for like 10 minutes and say, hey, these are the results. And it's like a 20-page document. I don't think it's a secret in the industry, but
Yeah. No, it's and that's part of the problem as well. Like I said before, there are many parts that are problematic.
We'll go to those later. So, questionnaires is one part you don't care about that you have to assess people. What other parts? Like, how do you actually assess people then?
Interviews, building rapport, but having conversations and asking questions, very pertinent questions. And checking, challenging them eventually as well. Like, you've got to challenge people's thoughts, but only once you've got that relationship. If I challenged you straight away, you'd be like, what? I'm out. Then I won't be able to help them.
Okay.
Yeah, usually. But I need to build rapport. And rapport is getting to know the person, helping them feel safe in this space. But I'm always very honest with them, and I say, look, I don't know where your claim is going. If you go down the legal route, their files get requested by lawyers and case managers all the time. Yeah. So my notes, so I have to say that to them. That's quite different to private as well. It's not as confidential as a private client, but I say that right in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So clients need to know, but they don't understand the process. That's the problem. There's a lot of misunderstanding of what this process actually does.
All right, let's, I think let's organize the thoughts here. I've heard a lot of issues. What would be, where are these, like, from a psychologist and treating party, where do you see these issues at? And let's go through them one by one. Can we go? You were saying, these the patients themselves are being ostracized. That's an issue. The company's not talking to them. That's an issue. Yeah. The claims process sounds like an issue as well.
Yeah.
And sounds like the verification, like medical opinion, is also an issue.
I think so. Yeah.
Is there any other ones?
I mean, there are loads. I think if we could, I'd have to, I've actually got a whole document of pain points that I've built up, for this whole thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know them all by heart, no, but so if you put it into 3 categories, it's the work where the injury occurred. There are lots of problems there. Employers don't know how to handle a workers' comp case. They often, they don't know what to do, and they just shut everything down, push that person out, or keep calling and going, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? And there's a problem here. We need to address the problem.
How should an employer do it? From your perspective, what would be the best way for an employer to approach psych claims?
Well, communication and finding out how does this person want to be communicated with. Because it depends on who the person, if it was the manager, it happens to be the bully, obviously that person can't contact this person. Yep. But somebody needs to be a tether for this client to still be connected to work. Somebody has to represent the business and be a tether for that person so that they don't feel ostracized. That's definite.
Then hold on.
It's very simple, actually.
Should I actually, let's say someone gets injured here, right? Should I ask other colleagues to contact that person from time to time? Is that what you're suggesting?
Look, I'd be careful with that, because also I have had this experience where I'd say one person be the main contact. Okay. Because if you say, look, you're welcome to contact, they could be feeding information to the client that isn't actually helpful for the client's recovery, and you can't manage that.
It sounds like you got experience in it. I've heard.
I've got some clients who might have an assistant maybe like in a classroom or something, and then something happened, and then they still get info from that assistant who's at work, and they're like, oh, it's really bad, and since you've left, all this stuff's happened, and or nobody cares that you're gone, or things, like saying things like that. That's not going to help the client want to come back at all. So it does have to be kind of managed as to what communication will be there. Between them. But I think the most important thing is that this person needs to feel validated in what they're going through. And validation doesn't mean agreeing. I think that's where some people misunderstand.
What do
if
you
I
mean?
validate your feeling,
Yep.
I'm not necessarily agreeing. I might not agree with what you've just said, but I can validate and go, I can imagine that would feel challenging for you or something, and that's validating it.
It sounds like sales skills.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that's what I learned.
Sales is psychology,
It is
really.
absolutely all psychology.
But the dark side.
No, you need it. No, it's motivating people to spend their money.
exactly. Manipulative. No, it can be very clever. But you're dealing with people, so you have to understand people.
Okay. Okay, so essentially you're saying one person, preferably probably one person dealing with the injured worker, and then communicating.
In a supportive way as well, non-judgmental. And a lot of people, look, I think I must say I'm a little bit maybe limited because I only really deal with the client. I don't deal with the work as well, like the rehab providers do. So you kind of tend to talk to everyone.
Yes.
I don't. I'm a little bit of a silo. So, but I've spoken to some people who've worked.
Fine. We'll find someone else to talk about, how we see it, or an employer that, how do you do with cycling?
They'll be like that.
Shit.
Yeah, and they'll be like, that Sharon knows nothing, like how hard it is.
That's fine. Who cares about what they say?
Yeah, no, it's fine. But so again, I understand I'm only hearing one side of the story, and I always know that. So it must be very difficult for how do we deal with this person, and also, like what there's so many nuances with the person. But the most important thing, I think, if they wanting this person to be a part of the work, they need some sort of communication. That we value you, we want you back. What can we do to help you? What do you need? How can we help you feel safer here?
Okay. So
that's one.
You don't really need to even tell them like how the company's going, nothing like that. Not really.
It would be mainly just checking in, how are you going, and is there anything you need? But I find that question can be also vague. A lot of clients don't know what they need.
Exactly.
And they're like, I don't know. But it's just, hey, just checking in with you, letting you know we're here when you need. This is what's happening at the moment. Really wish you'd come to this project, but only when you're ready. I don't know. I'm just winging it right now. But it would have to be like, focused communication that's going to try and help the person feel supported in some way.
Okay. No, that's
but that's not really my lane anyway. But I think that would help a lot.
But I think it's from your perspective, what can actually help? Because for me, I think I'm creating content so that people can learn or see from other people's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's one right answer for everything.
No.
Most of the time, there's like multiple right answers.
Of course.
And if you do multiple things right, chances are the outcome is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
And there is somewhat of a disconnect between, different stakeholders within our system.
Definitely.
Right.
100%.
Some people say like, I'm not crapping on you, but like, the psychologists, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
All they do is just bill every single week, month, whatever, insert a time frame. And then this person doesn't get better for like 2 years. Like, what are they doing? They don't know shit, blah, 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 all that crap. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a blame thing again. Now it's up to me to make the person change. I don't have any control of how a person changes. That's the other thing that's a pain point on my part is, when is this person going to be better? I'm like, really? How can you answer that? Do you know what I mean?
Tell me
think
more.
in 2.5 months they should be. No, it's always a guess, but you can't be certain. But case managers kind of need some sort of time frame, which I get. I understand, but it's psychology. It's not a physical injury. That's the thing. The claim workers' comp is built on physical injuries, not psychology.
I can give you insight into that. They actually don't really care whether it's like 5 months or 10 months or 12 months. Like, we do that all the time. We have to.
Yeah.
It's more like for documentation's sake.
Yeah.
They just need some sort of a timestamp.
But if I say, look, I'm thinking about around May, it should be, if this goes according to plan and if this is in place, then May, and then May comes and they're not there yet.
Oh, that's fine. That happens all the time.
I don't ever have that's fine. I'm like, what are you doing then? What is happening with them? Why aren't they? You said, I get that.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe like my pro tip is just give them a time, because unfortunately time is important.
Totally
As in
get
like
it. You can't be
some sort of
forever.
prognosis is important.
Totally, I understand. Yeah.
But
But it is.
you
just
have
tricky.
no idea the amount of time that I've seen claims whereby it goes off track.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
all you have to say is something along the lines of, this happened, therefore it dragged on a little bit more, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do. I do that all the time because it's never on the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Like we create return to work plans. I don't know if you know,
Yeah.
but we create a lot of return to work plans. I would say maybe it's like a testament to how bad our work is. I shouldn't broadcast this, but I'll say like maybe 67% don't ever go to plan.
Yeah.
But yes, we do handle a lot of complex cases. The easy ones, like, lacerations, all that stuff, the easy ones, they tend to go to plan.
Yeah.
But anything that's a little bit more, like the tendon tears, those are horrendous.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So they get tear on the right hand, then for some reason they'll start, overusing the left hand, and then that gets a tear as well.
Yeah.
So it's very horrendous, and then the return to work plan just goes berserk.
Yeah.
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 And it happens all the time.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So don't worry about those. Just give them a time and say, 4 months.
Yeah.
We should see some improvement.
Yeah. Yeah.
They come back like, dude, I'm
we
not
did
God.
it. Well, there's this improvement, but they're like, why aren't they back at work? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, that's one issue. Like, how can we change that then? How can we improve on that? What do you think?
What
Like as in how when someone gets ostracized and then they're say our employer goes and say, hey, I'm contacting this person, but they're still not getting better. What can what can the company do, or what can a case manager do to speed up the process?
Look, can I speak about what I would
Yes.
do more? Like again, everybody has a part, and it depends. Sorry, actually, I'll go down this path. It depends on whether the person is having a whole person impairment claim as well, because. Sorry. I'm going to talk about barriers. We'll get to the solutions in a minute. If that's right. But
that's fine.
another barrier, because I think it's important to know all the barriers, all the things that can really, impede recovery. There are two models in the workers' comp, and there's this compensation model, and then there's the recovery model, and those models clash, but they're supposed to be running at the same time. So as soon as they get a lawyer to advocate and fight for them to gain compensation on their injury, which means they kind of have to stay sick in some ways. I don't think it's intentional. I don't think it's malingering. Some maybe, yes, but a lot of the time they're having to get assessed and be pathologized. They don't get better because they're getting compensated, or they're trying to get compensation for their injury.
I see where.
So if you got to stay sick.
So
the more sick you are, the more
you're
compensated.
Talking about the weekly payments as well as the lump sum payments.
Meaning the whole
payments.
person. Yeah. As soon as people kind of get onto that path, it's a very difficult recovery process. The recovery just gets blown out way longer.
And I guess that's another insight. The people that go on these like WPI claims, majority of them don't make any money.
That's the thing, and they don't. No, they don't, and it's going to change anyway now. So I think that's in a way. I know a lot of people are up in arms with it, but I actually think what it will mean. Something had to change, but what it means is that I think they're going to focus more on the recovery model, hopefully, rather than not rely on the compensation model, which means it's more likely that there will be recovery.
That's true. Okay. Oh no, I hear what you're saying. So I guess part of that is just the system's failing in itself, whereby they're incentivizing the wrong things.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Definitely, because you're allowed to. They're encouraged, and understandably, you've been affected in some way. So yeah, get compensated if that is what you need. But it is encouraging.
And unfortunately, there are bad players, but I can't name names. I won't name names. But I actually see it differently now. Before I was like, all up in arms and saying, getting angry about it. But now I'm thinking maybe they are just there as a result of what the rules of the systems are. Right?
Definitely, same, yeah.
And you might think of it as evil or bad or whatever, insert whatever word it is, but they see it as helping people.
Yeah. No, totally, absolutely, definitely. So that's what I mean by everyone has different goals, but the goals don't align. So, sorry to interrupt.
That's true.
Yeah.
How can we change? I actually don't know.
I do think this legislation is going to change things a bit. But the other thing is, I really believe from a psych perspective, because that's really all I can really talk to. I'm not working with companies. I'm not working with lawyers or GPs. It's just really me, okay, in the psych world. Rehab providers. I work a lot with rehab providers closely. So it's good to kind of have a bit of a connection there and community there. But I think the thing that I see from a psychology perspective that impacts a person's recovery is fear and avoidance and then isolation. And it's like a cycle that just keeps, and they shut everything off, they stop living. So
hold on.
Yes.
With this WPI, the claim thing, right? Do you think that is what causes the shut off as well? Because like if I don't get treatment, that means I'm not getting better. Therefore, my payout might be bigger.
I haven't found that with my clients. A lot of my clients who are on WPIs, they still want to see me.
Okay.
But I do feel like it's tricky because I don't often see improvement, even though I feel like I'm working hard. I think I'm working too hard.
Yeah, no, that goes back to the first question, basically. Like, is there a difference between privately paid patients and workers' comp patients? And I sounds like that is probably one of the biggest differences there are.
Yeah, it's but again, it's I do think it depends. Like you kind of who will go on workers' comp. Yeah, what kind of person goes on workers' comp, and a lot of them believe that somebody else has done this thing to them. And again, that may be true, but what are you doing about it? It's never about what's happened to us. It's not your fault what's happened to you, but it is your responsibility to get out of it.
Absolutely.
And that's where people like, no, this should not have happened. I'm not going back until they apologize. Like, well, you're giving them your power. You're the only one who's being impacted here.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but it's emotional. It's not logical. It's not rational. It's emotional. It's threat. There's survival. So we can go, why are they doing that? It doesn't make sense. But we're looking at it from a logical perspective. And a lot of people do judge because they're looking at it from that perspective. Logically, that doesn't make sense. But emotionally and sometimes some people have never had a voice throughout their life. They've been pushed down, never been assertive, been abused, pushed down, whatever. Now is their one chance. They've got a lawyer who's advocating for them. They've got a GP who cares. They've got a psychologist who cares. Finally, my voice is being heard, and now I'm going to be loud.
Oh, wow.
I see that happen.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
How often does that?
I mean, I think it's quite often, but I don't like saying, people love going, oh, it's all or nothing, and it's not, but a lot. That's where people get stuck, like I said. So it's like, they need to do it. Why should I always hear this? Why should I have to do anything? Why should I have to change? Why should I? Like, because it's your life. Yeah. Yeah.
It came out the same time. It's your life. What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, but that's that external, internal locus of control. So that's what I try to do, is try and help empower people. But unfortunately, when people are quite passive, they stay passive in their recovery. If they've been passive in their life, they're passive in recovery.
Oh, I actually thought of a question. Like, say you explain them what, internal, external locus of control is, and then how do you actually help them gain that internal control?
Well, asking that question, like, what can look? I don't start with this because they're going to be like, "What? I did nothing. It's not. It's you." And then they're storm out. But build relationship, and then try. Well, first of all, I mainly try and empower them with strategies and things that they can try, like structure, things that they can do to help themselves. Have structure in your day.
Yep.
A lot of people stop everything, and this is a basic functioning that we need is getting up, waking up and going to sleep at the same time, as if you are working.
Teeth. Apparently that's a big
100%.
one. Yeah.
Get out of your clothes. Get out of your clothes, sorry. Get out of pajamas, I mean. I've had clients who...
rock up to your clinic in pajamas?
Well, no, I work online now, so that doesn't help. So yeah, in pajamas. Or lying down on their bed. I'm like, can you sit up? Like, this isn't...
No way.
You need to take this seriously. Those things. Get out the house. People stop leaving the house. They stop living. They stop doing hobbies. And a lot of that's also fear. They fear that if I'm seen to be enjoying myself, then my injury isn't real. And people do judge that. So I get that they feel that way. People be like, oh, I saw you laughing the other day, so you obviously can't have depression. That's not true. It's false.
No, I
but
actually
people
think
judge.
it's even... I actually think that's a very bad premise to be in. I mean, you're trying to recover. Why the hell do you want to feel sad all the time? It doesn't make any sense.
You're talking about kind of being sad, but I thought I thought you're going down as if it's a choice, though, because I need to say it's not a choice.
Is it not a choice?
No, you're not choosing to be depressed. No, it's a reaction. It's a difference.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, remember
so
what I
the
said.
fight and flight system, the flight system at the moment.
Absolutely.
How do you change it then? As a psychologist, how do you make that switch?
I teach them first so that they have compassion and understanding. Understanding is imperative, understand where am I, why is this happening to me, what actually happened, unpack it, but from try and be, I'm the objective one. I have to be the objective one for the person. So I try and go, do you see that it makes sense that you'd feel this way because this is what you experienced.
Yep.
But how are we going to now work on it? You're stuck in this place and this is what needs to happen to get out of it. How do we bridge, what are the stepping stones between where you are now to where you want to be? How do we do that? And I engage, it's collaborative. I don't tell them what to do.
So you're like, go for the outcome first.
Where do you want to be? I want my life back. I want to be happier. I want to not feel anxious all the time.
That's a cool tip.
And then ask them too, what do you? I give them agency. I don't tell them. I do educate, and that's me kind of sharing information. But it's the agency I try to keep building. What would you do? Or what else can you do? What do you enjoy? What did you used to enjoy before the injury? What did you used to enjoy as a child? Playing and being sort of silly or colouring in, or start there. Do puzzles, do something else, just not in your head. People get stuck in their head and that just perpetuates symptoms more. Always.
Wow.
And they're not choosing it. It's very important that they're not choosing that. They are reacting to it. It's the difference.
Wait, hold on. From our conversation so far.
Have you learned a lot?
No, if I'm hearing it correctly, essentially it sounds like, during our childhood, we haven't teach these people or given them the tools to, look into themselves and be accountable. And then therefore, when they grow older, all these repercussions and consequences come alight. Is that?
I would say, yes.
Is that it?
Yes and no. I would say, I would say nobody learned how to regulate themselves. Nobody learned how to build resilience within themselves. But again, just remember, some people have come from traumatic experiences.
So only some. I honestly don't think a big portion of our population.
But it depends on what you're meaning by trauma, because trauma is, everyone's had some form of trauma. Trauma can also be emotional neglect. You don't see it. It doesn't look like anything. You haven't had a big trauma. You weren't physically abused, for example, but if there was emotional neglect, or if there was a parent that just didn't care about you as much, or they favored the sibling, that's going to impact you. And that you can't see. It's not a tangible thing.
Yes. And the funny thing is, I don't think that should be a big enough issue to cause, a serious psychological injury. What I mean by that is, who doesn't have a past? Who doesn't have trauma in their past? I don't know about you, but death, you should have experienced that. You like you said, divorces, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Death of a child, that's crazy. That's trauma, but I still see people thriving when they've experienced all this.
I would come back to just remember as well. We can't. I think it's unfair to say your trauma is not bad enough.
Uh-huh.
That's judging. We all, we can't judge. I think. And again, remember, I see this all the time. So this is my area. This is what I live this.
I'm being the devil's advocate because I want to get more information out of you so that our audience can actually learn something.
Yeah, I think it's important because a lot of people do judge and they go, but why are you still on this? And that's what people, they develop shame because they go, why am I still on this? Why am I not getting better? I've gone through so much before that seemed worse. It's not about whether we can't judge. And even as psychologists now with trauma, again, the trauma research has changed everything. We used to think trauma had to be something big that was life-threatening. Mm-hmm. It actually doesn't matter now, we know. It doesn't matter what the trauma was, but if that person perceives it as traumatic, that's important. That's given enough. That's important enough. Perception is as important as reality.
Really?
Well,
then is that
in order to help them.
Oh, you didn't help them. Okay.
Yeah, that's my role as well. So I need to understand. I can't go, but you didn't even. If I do that, I'm judging, and they're going to just go further into themselves and shame. And I'm not doing this as a strategy. This is the research talks about. if the person feels affected by it, because it's tapped into something that's triggering for them. We all have different triggers. We can't judge somebody's triggers because I don't have that trigger.
Yep.
That person doesn't matter, but they're triggered. That's the point. They're triggered. How do we work with this? That's what we have to do.
You know what I realized though? Maybe we should, include a course during like high school or primary school, probably high school.
Absolutely.
Just specific on human psychology and
Absolutely.
how it works, and then how we can help them.
Yes, but
But
sorry, no, you
okay.
go.
No,
Sorry,
you
I'll
keep
let you
going,
speak.
but
It's parents as well. Like we can train people or do something here. I used to work with children, and if I just worked with the child and not the system, the family system, the child might have great skills, but then they're going back into dysfunctional system. It's not going to work.
that's fine though, because they've built their own skills and tools.
Not if you're I guess so. If you're a child, no,
exactly.
But no, I hear what you're saying. But that again, that comes back to, it's not just one thing. It's not just the person in this sense. It's the work dynamic. It's the system dynamic. It's the person dynamic. They all need to change.
Huh.
Yeah. But I agree. I feel like we all need to learn how to emotionally regulate, how to understand ourselves so we don't react. Because that's what tends to, we react. We're all quite reactive, hey, to things.
It is. Oh, that's interesting. But the thing is, like, I see, the schooling system now, right? That we are teaching our kids to be a lot more emotional and empathetic as well.
Definitely awareness. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
then again, it seems like we're not getting anywhere as well in terms of actually building resilience. Did we do something wrong, or is that something like what's your opinion on that specific topic?
It's with most things. It can be anything, even, well, you like contentious topics. Hey,
I do, absolutely. Because I want to pick your brain into seeing what
humans.
What is the real answers?
What tends to happen when there's one thing that's happened all the time, and then there's an uprising of the opposite thing. So Me Too movement, women against men, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Patriarchy.
And now it's like red pill, all that crap, yeah.
It tends to, if it's here and then there started being an uprising for the other, whatever the other is, often it tends to swing a little bit to kind of the other side. It kind of has to. It kind of has to go, and then the hope, the ideal is that it kind of ends here and then it's equal.
Sounds like democracy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. But with what were we saying earlier about teaching students and having that kind of understanding, I think that would be helpful. And you're right. Because I see adolescents. Well, I used to see adolescents, and there was a period, and I think there might still be. I don't really see adolescents anymore. But where it became a badge of honor now. Now mental health, how many diagnoses have you got? I've got 5. And it's like a badge of honor. We've swung too far now.
ADHD.
Yeah.
Every single kid has ADHD.
Identify. Now they identify. So first they didn't no, denial. But now they identify with it. That's also not healthy either.
Yeah.
So again, that's the swinging too kind of far there. I'm hoping it kind of falls in the middle sometime soon. But the awareness is important. My niece is 11. She's incredible. Incredible. For her age, she's incredible. I think she's very special. Obviously, I'm not objective. But I think, the way that the conversations they have now, I would never speak about stuff like that. The topics they talk about, they're very aware, which I think is helpful. More than
awareness
anything.
Is helpful.
It's a start. Awareness is the start.
It also causes more issues, though, in a sense that everyone's aware that they have ADHD. That doesn't make any sense. But
then it's about, and this is where people do, again, external versus internal locus of control. Somebody with an external locus of control, if they've been diagnosed with ADHD, it's like, I have ADHD, you need to deal with that. That's not my problem. I've got ADHD, you deal with that. You need to speak to me like what I need, rather than, okay, what am I going to do? I've got this diagnosis, what can I do about it? We just love blaming everyone. Humans love that. It's easier. It is easier.
Okay, let's go back to work. We went for a
detour. Before we go too down.
Yeah. Like that's an interesting topic. Maybe we should do another podcast specific about that, because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that directly affects our next generation and how we will bring up, the next lot of
totally. Yeah.
I guess workers as well, and
definitely.
Yeah.
I agree, and that's the thing with everything. It's like, it would be great if you can nip things in the bud. I'm actually thinking about doing something more where I work with businesses to try and prevent workers' comp claims first.
Okay.
They start at the source, of where it develops.
Okay. What's that like? What's,
No,
what,
I don't know
what
yet.
idea do
It's
you
an
have?
idea.
Okay.
I've got a rehab consultant that I've been, we like have ideas all the time. Like, how do we make this better? How do we change the world? We honestly always have
What's
these
some things that
catch-ups.
you've come up with? You guys have come up with.
Well, I know what I want to do,
Okay.
and I would love to do this. I really would love to do this with workers' comp. I was thinking of even contacting an insurance like EML or something, and saying I would love to do a pilot study where we put people who have just come on claim that with psych claims and create a group program. It would be structured. It would be standardized.
What do you mean group program? Like,
So,
I'm an alcoholic. Oh, my name is Stephen.
Not a
I'm
support
alcoholic
group.
like this
Create a little community of people who are going through a similar experience so that they can build connection, listen and learn from each other. Not a support group though, a program that they need to go through, but it will be in person in a group format where you learn about your nervous system and you teach each other and you kind of have that community. Because like I said before, I think one of the biggest barriers from a psych perspective, if you look at the person, is avoidance and fear.
Yep.
And that just keeps you stuck. It really keeps you stuck. And they know they need to do these things. I tell them all the time, like, this is what's going to help you, but you have to do it. You can't just wait. A lot of people say to me, I don't have confidence yet. And it's like, you're never going to grow confidence from waiting. No. I'm not motivated.
Actions.
You're never going to get motivated without doing. You have to do in order to build resilience, confidence, motivation. So by being put in a situation like that with other people, trying to build a supportive space where they can learn from each other and be accountable with each other and build together, I think would be very helpful. Because right now all these clients are silos. They don't leave the house. Nobody gets them. They become very dependent on their psychs, which I don't think is actually that healthy either.
Yep.
Not all of them do, but a lot do. And then, the longer they're away from having social skills, can you imagine trying to get back? I don't know if you remember being at school on long holidays. I hated going back to school after a really long holiday. I loved school.
I'm the complete opposite.
Get me back.
I'm like, stay on holidays for as long as you can.
No. I mean, that's what I meant. I didn't want to go back because it was so scary. For me, I was quite an anxious kid. But it was like, because you're out of something for so long, it's like, what is it going to be like when I get back? The more you're away from something and don't have the opportunity to face it, the harder it is that it's going to be.
I've got something like that, a personal experience, but it's not school. It's from working from home. That sucked because I'm constantly away from people, like you said. But and then having to, I think you get depressed and stuff. Actually, what's even worse is when you're unemployed.
When you're unemployed.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
If all your friends at work, or you don't have, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Dark spiral.
Yeah.
Like you feast on TV. Back then was TV, not Netflix.
I came over here. I got sponsored to work, but when I came over here just to kind of assess, what if I could actually work here, and so I was approaching people to see if I could work here, and I kept getting. Actually, I got a job as a rehab provider, but they didn't want to sponsor me. So,
which company is this?
It was Oz Rehab, I think.
We didn't exist back then. We're not that old. I'm sorry.
How old do you think I am? No, totally. Touche. No, but where I was going with that is that I remember as well, I would wake up then at 10 and I'd be like, well, the day's almost over. There's no point in trying now. And the focus for every day was, what am I going to have for lunch? Like, that was my life. That was the thing I looked forward to. Just what was I going to make for lunch? And it was also very basic because I had no money. So it was hard.
Yeah.
But it is. You can easily get into humans when we lose connection from a group or community, we can get depressed very easily and quickly. Very.
That sounds like a centerpiece of this podcast. Make sure you're connected. Make sure the injured workers are connected so that they gain the best chance of going back to society.
Yes.
Might not even be your company.
Absolutely.
Like at least society. The genuine ones, not the fake ones.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to fraud stuff later, but yeah.
We go to what?
Fraud.
Oh.
We'll do that later.
How long are we going to be?
But going back to the point about the team thing, not the team thing,
the group
thing.
Yes.
One of the issues that I can actually see is that when you have people that are all depressed, they might go down a dark spiral together. Wouldn't that be a
code
problem?
dysregulate.
Yeah,
Of course. Oh, that's a risk, absolutely. That's why this is going to be a pilot. No, like, might not work. No, I really believe that it could with the right structure and the right planning, and it's not just a group support group. It's not that. It has to be very, very structured, and I've already got a plan. I'd like to actually approach.
Tell me.
And it's like a whole.
Trust me, no one's going to copy it. Like, chances are no one's going to watch this, and then no one is ever going to copy it.
Well, like I said,
I've learned this from my experience. So I can tell everyone
true. That's true.
what I'm going to do in my business.
Yeah.
No one gives a crap.
No.
And then that either they're too lazy to do it, or they're like, no, you're full of shit. I'm not going to copy
Or they
you.
might try it, but it'll be different to yours anyway.
Correct. So I actually don't mind. I openly share my business plans.
And I don't mean like I'm keeping it, like squirreling it away. It's more just, I mean, I can tell you like the basics of it, because it will be, like I said, and I still need to think more about it, but it's the structure, like how it would work for that particular, like the claims, the particular insurance that I'd work with if possible. It would need to be structured, like I said, psychoeducation first, building rapport with each other, and then having a buddy system as well. So say it's a group of 10 people, they each have like a buddy that they can choose or like work, say the first day that they build a relationship.
What if
and
it's
see
like someone that's recovered? That might work.
And that's exactly it. Bring somebody who's recovered who can tell and go, it's tough. It's really tough, but it's hopeful. You can get out of this.
As in the buddy system. The buddy with a person that's recovered. I think that will have, that will significantly increase their chances of recovering.
Let's do this.
Absolutely.
No, that's a great idea. It's a great idea.
That makes a lot of sense.
But it's also, people have to meet in person. It will have to be like a place where they get out their house.
Yep.
And then there's homework as well, but like homework, I'm not meaning like dictating this is what you have to do, but it's encouraged.
No, it's
this
good
is
that
the structure.
They do some work.
And they have to be, they become more agents, have agency in there.
That might actually work. If you change it, if you do it like that, maybe
and then you do
work.
Assessments as well before and after about, proper assessments.
Not self-assessment.
They'll have to be but better ones. I think. It'll be a whole thing, like a report as well at the end to see. They'd have to be screened as well. Because it can't, some people do have other hang-ups, and it depends. And if they're going down sort of the legal route, they might not be the best person for that group. So you need to screen the types of people just to make sure
and
it has the best
once they get a lawyer, just
opportunity.
Kick them out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I just mean there's that compensation model that, clashes with the recovery model. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I've got lawyer friends, so I have to be careful what I say.
You have no idea how I have to be careful, but I'll still say it anyways, because chances are they're not going to watch it. Watch this. Even if they watch it.
Yeah. No, and again, like you said, they everybody has their own goal and they mean well. They believe in their lane, that they're helping. And then they are. They're not that they're not. It's just that that is in contradiction to recovery.
Correct. I think, when incentives line up, powerful things happen.
Yeah.
When they don't line up, this is when,
I agree.
all hell breaks loose.
And do you know, another thing that I was thinking would be good is if there's, I don't know how it would work, but there's some sort of like portal that all the professionals involved can be at easy access. So everything like reports or whatever are put there and we can communicate.
Like Privacy Act.
Yeah, but like case conferences, when you have a case conference, I mean like that. Like it has to be purely just about that client so that we can communicate as a team. I think there need to be more case conferences where we're all on the same page.
That's actually something, a technology that I'm trying to build at the moment. Yeah, like openly tell everyone.
I'll get there before you. No, I'm joking. I would.
No, it's hard.
I'm totally joking.
It's so hard.
No, that's a great idea. If there is something like that, because again, we're all silos.
Correct.
I don't know what the employer's saying. Not necessarily the employer.
Supposedly, the rehab is supposed to be the glue that gets everyone together, right?
Definitely.
And then
you have to have a great rehab provider.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if I am actually the glue, that means transferring information and communication constantly, and it's up to date.
Yeah.
Then chances are I'll give these people the best possibilities of recovering.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm speaking to you, because I've had good experiences with Oz Rehab.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
How many? May I ask?
Not many. No, no, I'm joking. I haven't worked with many Oz Rehab, but the ones that I have always been fantastic.
Yes, I'll ask you for a review later. Yeah, we never rehearsed this.
No, we didn't actually. No, we didn't.
No, okay.
Well, you know who I'm dealing with at the moment. He's great. He's really. Is he? Oh, is that him there?
He's actually working.
He's a hard worker.
Oh, absolutely. No, don't name names so that they don't poach him.
No.
This is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a great idea. I love that idea.
Yeah. No, like, so my plan is to build our own clinical note system. And then I don't know how the Privacy Act is going to work, but I'm sharing it with like different people. And like different people have different levels of access to different documents that we hold.
Yeah.
And then they can log in whatever it is to our system and then read it.
Yeah.
And then see it live.
Yeah. I think things will be up to date. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like instead of the crap that we have at the moment.
Trying to call the doctor and they can't get back, or email, or
No, not that. As in like our clinical system.
Oh,
clinical
really?
note system.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
I've got no idea why these people just never improve their software. But fortunately, like right now, I think we're somewhat in a position to start developing. It's going to cost like shitloads of money. But I think it's for the better.
Yeah. Great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Come back in like a year. If it doesn't happen, I'll cry. And then I'll think of something else.
Yeah.
It's
good. Hey, but you're always learning, always growing, always trying to find a way to better the system. I think that's important for
business owners.
Well,
it is. Or any business.
But as a human as well, like how can, not because I'm bad and I need to improve, it's more just how can I learn from this? That's the question I think we need to learn or ask for everything that we go through.
Absolutely.
What can I take from this? Even a bad experience, just what can I take from this experience?
Yes. And more importantly, I think, a lot of humans, we've lost the competitive edge as well. We've been way too friendly. Oh, sorry. We've been way too friendly. We've been getting way too many participation awards. And we think that we're
less
not
resilient.
Yeah. And like life is a competition. Unfortunately, it is. You have to be better than the other person in order for you to move forward.
Well, it's challenging. Life is challenging for sure.
Correct. And when you take the competitiveness out of people, then the society actually technically doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like you can still survive for like, maybe like 10, 20 decades, whatever it is, right? I don't know. Like I'm just
no, I know what you mean though. Yeah.
But like you need competition in order for you to
drive. We need drive.
Yeah. Innovations.
Yeah.
That's where competition comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, like the entire Cold War is just competition between US and Russia.
Yeah.
And then who gets to the moon first?
Yeah.
And then the winner takes all, basically.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Drive. People need drive. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Second part, I actually do want to explore this part. Like, I actually have this question that in my head for a long time. And I want to specifically ask the treatment provider this. Okay. Hear me out. Don't take too much offense. As treatment providers, technically you're financially incentivized to for a better word, drag on the claim. So like more times you see a patient, more sessions, more money actually comes in.
Yeah.
What do you think, actually, should I go how? How do you think that, does that actually impact recovery? What's your opinion on that specific topic? And, is it wrong? Is it right? What's your opinion?
I would, again, that is maybe on paper, that might look that way. And maybe if people are saying or seeing that, there's no sort of progress, because progress to the case manager is back to work. Yep. That's progress.
And the employer as well.
And the employer, of course. Yeah. And then I totally get it. Like, it makes sense. The employer's like left there waiting for this person to come back. But again, it's about agency for every part. But so, I mean, I don't know anyone who would, I'm going to use this as a lucrative thing. I don't imagine many psychologists, because you're in a helping profession. So that's not the plan. It's like, I'm going to now try and kind of really drag this out so I can, I would hope not. Look, they're people. They're all people, all kinds of people. But I can't imagine, maybe I don't see it like that. I'm constantly I want to help more people. And the more people I can get off my books, the more I can help more people. So I don't even understand that. I get it. I get what you're saying. But I don't even understand how somebody would, I don't think you're in the right profession then, if that's what you're doing as a psychologist, because And again, you didn't just choose to be a psychologist. You definitely didn't choose it for it to be lucrative.
Dude, like the amount of studies that you guys have to go through in order for you to get the license.
Do you know how many times you have to be chosen into degrees and stuff? They choose you. Like it's hard. It's tough.
Was it similar in South Africa?
Yes, it was the same. Same. Yeah. I've been interviewed and he had to get chosen into the different degrees. Not the first degree, but the next ones. Yeah, because it's a small cohort, so you have to, and you get, it's hard. It's really hard. So I can't imagine somebody goes into it for, you may as well do something else. There's way more opportunities to make way more money doing another profession. So usually people that are drawn to some sort of helping profession, I would think their first thing is to help.
First instinct is to help.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like it's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about that. Because I don't agree with it. Like I don't imagine many people that are psychologists would be focused on that.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe they are. Though.
Maybe
I don't know. What was your question though? Like how?
No, financial incentive.
Yeah.
In terms of I guess profiting for yourself, like selfish profiting of injured workers.
Yeah.
And dragging it on unnecessarily. I guess that's the main idea.
Yeah, but what about that? Like, just does that happen? Is that what you're asking?
Well, does it happen? And
if it does, that's really bad. It's very unethical. Absolutely.
But I don't think there's any safeguards to stop people from doing that. Is that true?
I would think though. So if you're a good psychologist, you need to be able to care about the person that you're working with, and if it's purely for money, you're not going to be a caring person because you've lost. You could have burnt out though as well. Say you burn out easily with a helping profession as well. But then you shouldn't really be working. You need a break or do something.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine, again, like the person in the helping profession cares for the person or wants to help the person as the first thing.
Yep.
That would be the first factor for sure. And I was thinking if somebody's purely doing it for the money, I don't think you'd be able to build rapport and help that client feel safe enough to want to keep seeing you. Because clients have a choice. They don't have to keep seeing you. I've had so many clients who've stopped seeing their therapists and then they found me. Like I'm usually the second or third psychologist, not because of anything other than they didn't feel supported. And that might be maybe those people were more for money. I don't know. I don't know. But I think your focus.
To you, obviously. That
no, but I think your focus would show if your focus is purely as a business. Or only. I mean, it is a business, but purely for sort of making money. I would think that would be revealing in the sessions and the client wouldn't feel supported.
So essentially natural selection will take its course.
I think so. I think so, yeah.
That's interesting. Never thought about it that way. Yeah. So natural selection will get rid of these people and then chances are you will go for a different profession.
Yeah. Or they'd, yeah, I'd think so.
Yeah.
I'd hope so.
Apparently NDIS. Oh, that's another controversial topic.
I'm not saying anything about that. Yeah. It's an interesting question. I've never even thought about that though. But they probably are. You get people that aren't in the right profession all the time, even psychologists, even though they've gone through that, jumping through hoops of training.
Okay.
They still might not be the best.
And I guess on the same, idea of fraud, in your estimations or, in your practice or in your views, how many of these psych claims are genuine and how many do you think borderline or maybe even fraudulent?
I find it a difficult thing to answer because how some people present, it could, on the surface, it could look like they're malingering.
Mm-hmm.
But when you understand what they've gone through and that a lot of their reactions are reactions, they're not like, haha, okay, now I'm going to do this and therefore I'm going to, it's not strategic. It doesn't seem strategic to me.
Yep.
So I would say, look, I have had one client who I struggled with and I felt like it was strategic.
Uh-huh.
But then I said, I can't work with you.
That's one client out of...
I think most might look like, not most, sorry. I think from just the surface, not understanding the person or the context, it could look like that. Uh-huh. But I don't feel they are. No, I feel like it's a reaction. Again, it's not like they just don't feel like going back to work. It's they are terrified, they're fearful, they're angry, they're upset. There's a lot going on that's stopping them then, like I said before, they avoid and they feel shame and all that stuff. So I would say my clients aren't, I wouldn't say any are.
Okay.
But I'm sure there are, and that's why, they have such strict like surveillance and stuff like that. I've had some clients who've been really, really, really badly surveilled, really unnecessarily, and it's so damaging. It's been so damaging.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's made it worse because they're terrified of leaving the house.
On a brighter note, though, what's some tips that you can give to, say, case managers or other people in the industry on how they can better handle psych claims and psych patients?
So I guess I'll say from just my perspective of what I see, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes at all. So I'll just say that. So I'm sure there's a lot of context that I'm unaware of what they have to go through. I can imagine they have a massive caseload, so it's exhausting.
It's actually a lot less now.
Oh, is it?
So
good.
Back in like 2018, 16-ish, I think the average caseload is close to 180, 90, 100 cases. Right now it's down to like 40 something.
Okay.
So it's like shrunk.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. If that's the case, that's great. I think a lot of case managers would benefit from training to understand humans. Because I think it's tricky for them. I know they got people above them going, why is this? And then they're like, oh, why is this? And everyone's pointing the finger down. So I feel like they would need support training, learning how to not burn out. They've got a tough job. They've got a really tough gig. They're the face of a faceless organization, and clients struggle with them. Clients hate insurance. Hey, it becomes, not always, but they become I always say to case managers, especially the ones that have developed a relationship with, who are lovely, I'm like, you have a tough gig, man.
They do.
They really do.
They do.
And if it's not work, even if a person doesn't go back to work, it's the insurance that takes over, and there's that one person. That's why they don't have their full name, I'm sure. It's like Anna S.
They started hiding the emails, the phone numbers and everything.
For protection. I can understand why, I can understand. So I think they need support. Think they need training to help them better understand psych claims, because again, the system is all about physical claims. I think they'd benefit from that if they don't already. I've chatted to some who are wonderful and they're really caring, helping type people, helping.
You know what I realized? The trend is I think the insurers are starting to hire a lot more customer service people to become case managers. So they're not health trained, they're not technical, nothing like that. But they sound very nice on the phone.
Yeah.
It's like they will be like some of the best customer service people ever.
Yes, but actually not skilled.
Yeah. But all they do is literally take down your concerns, whatever it might be, and then they go and pass it on to the IMA, IMS, whoever it is, and they make the decisions, and they come back and then do the customer service again.
Right.
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Look, for the past, few months, I've been calling out case manager. If there is one out there that's willing to go in that seat, come and talk to me. I want to learn. I want to know what's going on. I can see it from outside.
I don't think you're going to get one.
I highly doubt I'll get one, because it's going to go through all the layers of approval.
It's not just them, exactly. It's the higher up people.
Or maybe ex-case managers. Yeah, the ones that have been through a system. Either you hate it, love it, I don't know, I don't care. Just come in and actually talk to me.
I have spoken to somebody who was in that system who isn't anymore. And it was very I have to be very careful and I'm not allowed talking about it.
Exactly.
I'm mentioning now. But and that person was sharing, but that was a long time ago. Just that there wasn't enough support for the case managers that they needed. Definitely not. Exactly what you're saying, that a lot of people are not trained to be in a position because they got a authority, they're in a position of some sort of authority with this claim. So they need the training. They need some sort of psychology background, I think. But even Psych 101 isn't enough. It's more like understanding. I think they just need training. I'll happily train case managers.
EML. Sharon. She'll do a discount. No, not really. That's cool.
I think it's need. I think there's a need. I think, I've done this for so long. I'm like, where is it going wrong? It's it's not just one place. There's so many people. Psychologists also, all of us, we all need to shift and help and work together and support each other as professions. But there's no trust. There's no trust with case managers, apparently.
I was like, there's no trust between psychologists. I thought you were going to say that. I'm like, what?
Oh, no. case managers mainly. You know, you kind of never know how they're gonna use. I think I've spoken to quite a few rehab providers too, and they're like, everyone's trying to protect the client, and the client's very, often kind of withholding because they don't know how it's going to be used against them.
Yeah,
and it can be, and we've seen
that a few times.
That makes it tricky. Then not
everyone's
transparent.
Is, like when you start doing that, that's when the client actually goes and finds a lawyer.
Yeah,
and then like you said, if you find the wrong ones, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, and kind of back to what I was saying earlier about the survival states, when you get a lawyer is advocating for you. So they're fighting for you, which means that you need to stay in that fight mode.
Yeah.
When we're in a fight mode or if we're in a survival mode, everything or any experience that we have that's neutral is going to look threatening. The story we tell ourselves about what is going on in our life is dependent on the state that we're in, our nervous system state. So if you're in a survival state, if you're very anxious, you're just going to see things that are what could go wrong. If you're in a depressed state, everything's going to look bad and hopeless.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I always focus on that first. But that's just another example of like when you get a lawyer, they're fighting for you, but it means you kind of need to be in fight mode as well. And then you're not getting to that place of alert, conscious willingness to, well, not willing, I wouldn't say willing, but like you're not really as able to then live life in the way that you need to because you're in a survival state, fighting.
That's interesting. No, I think that's a very good place to wrap up these podcasts because I've learned a lot. And it seems like, most of the time, injured workers or pretty much anyone, on the system, look into themselves, right? Have some sort of control over your own internal feelings and emotions, injured workers, patients, wherever they are.
Yeah.
And that will give you the highest chances of recovery.
Definitely. What can you do? Not why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
It's like, what can I do about this? Or maybe you don't even know, but like, who can I ask to help me get out of this? So it's not just, you're not alone. Yeah. But everyone says that. Why am I here? That's just going to keep you stuck. What can I do to get out of this?
Yeah. And it seems like fraudulent claims, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. I don't have the actual data behind it. But most of the time, I think, it will get found out and then they get pushed out of the system anyways.
Yeah.
The ones that are left,
seems
like they do suffer because of the stigma of, being, why the hell are you not getting better?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
The system and the experience perpetuates the claim. And often I've had a lot of clients who say, if I'd known how hard the system, how difficult it would be, I wouldn't have gone on it. I've had so many people say that are on workers' comp say that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's not just the injury, it's what happens after that actually perpetuates the claim. That's definite.
A thought just came into my head. Maybe we should just get those people, buddy up with a newly injured person, and then tell them the horror stories of workers' comp. And then no one will ever claim workers' comp again.
It's kind of like what I want to do at workplaces and just go, this is what it looks like. This isn't, great. It's not a great system for you. It's not a recovering system necessarily. It could be good, but there's a lot of problems. It's not just one person needs to change.
Okay. On that note, Sharon, thank you. It's been a lovely talk. And if you guys want to find Sharon, these are her credentials. You will appear on the screen somewhere around here. Yeah. If you like this, please follow us and then check out other content. But otherwise, check out Sharon as well.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.